Hey friends, Pastor Sara here. And if you are someone who benefits from, enjoys, appreciates anything about what Salt House is doing in the world, can you just stop and listen for a few minutes? Thank you. I appreciate it. See, here's the thing. Here at Salt House, we've lived an incredible story of generosity. We were birthed out of Trinity Lutheran Church closing, and their death allowed us to be born here in this place. And we've really lived that generosity in the ways in which we gave away our basement to become a shelter for families experiencing homelessness, and then selling land to become a permanent shelter, 2 shelters for women and for families experiencing homelessness. And we've let that generosity infuse how we hold openly what we have as we continue in ministry and mission with engaging homelessness, with our ministry with and for queer folk, especially our queer group that's been going for about 18 months, in the ways in which we engage children, youth, and family from birth and all the way through, including with our small groups too. Just all the ways in which we engage in conversation and grow together. It's just been this infusion of goodness and generosity. Because of the sale of property that we had, we were able to have some money in savings. And so the last few years, we have staffed for growth, meaning we've had more staff and pastors than we've needed for the size that we are, so that we could provide ministries for us to grow into, expecting that engagement and the giving to grow to sustain these ministries. And the beautiful thing is that we have seen that over the last few years, folks showing up and our giving growing as well. But we've hit a crucial point, a kairos moment, as we call it here at Salt House, a moment that gives us pause. And we're looking around going, okay, what is happening? What's God saying in this? Because we are currently at about a $60,000 debt as we anticipate the end of our fiscal year on June 30th. And so that's expenses over income. And so we're wondering and trying to gather information about, have we hit a point where we need to reduce staff, or we need to think differently about how we're staffing because we can't grow the giving anymore. So we're gathering that information. The thing is, I think we have enough folks here, enough engagement for that giving to grow to meet that staffing level that we have. But we want to hear from you and get your input about how that's possible or not as we move forward together, okay? And so we want you to join the conversation about our budget, and here's how you can do that, okay? 4 things. First is just to prayerfully consider where and how you want your heart to grow. And this is language that we use here at Salt House based out of Jesus in the Sermon on the Mount when he says, give where you want your heart to go, except he says it, where your treasure is, there your heart will be also, right? Give to where you want your heart to go. Wherever you are spending your time and your money, your resources, that shapes who you become. It's a spiritual issue when it comes to our money. So how do you want to spend your money? In other words, number 1, prayerfully consider how you want your heart to grow. And we feel like here at Salt House, we are building a world together that we want to see spreading out into this world. So that's why folks are giving their hearts and their money here. Number 2, make a pledge, make a commitment for your giving July 2023 to July 2024. We're asking you to tell us how much you want to give to Salt House in the next year. And you can go online to do that. There's a form. And it really is a conversation for you to have with the folks in your household and with God about what does it look like for us to be generous? How do we want our hearts to grow? And people have been asking me, how much? Just tell me how much it is. Folks often give 10% of their income away. I know. But again, we live by a different system when we're living generously, right? Often, though, that's not possible. So folks start at 1%, 2%, or 3% of their income and often grow that giving each year. We're hoping and anticipating at least 15% growth in giving for next year. So even just giving 15% more at a minimum would be a huge help for us here at Salt House. So consider that and do that work together in your household. All right, number 3. Fulfill that pledge as we go through the year. And I also want to add, fulfill or change that pledge. So make your best guess as to what you want the next year to look like, knowing that if there are the what ifs, the things that happen, you can change that pledge and just go online and change that as the year goes on. And then finally, number 4, grow your giving right now before June 30th. As we're finishing out the current fiscal year, let's reduce that deficit even now. We still have time to finish this fiscal year strong, so consider being generous even now. It can have a really big impact on our decisions and our viability for the future. And that's it, friends. Thank you for your pledges. Thank you also for your incredible generosity that has fueled the life here for 8 years. I never cease to marvel at what God has done here and is doing here. Salt House, it is so good. So friends, thank you, thank you. I love that this is the life that we share together.